Montana's Supreme Court upholds a lower court ruling permitting gender-affirming care for minors. In contrast, Britain imposes an indefinite ban on puberty blockers for minors. On the domestic front, the U.S. House approves Ukraine must explore diplomatic avenues to reclaim occupied territories, as President Zelensky emphasizes to Kyoto News. Ukraine anticipates the surge in the use of uncrewed ground vehicles and AI targeting drones by 2025. Reportedly, Ukrainian-trained, Turkish-sponsored Syrian rebels lead an assault on Aleppo.
Records seized by Israel show Hamas presence in UN schools. An advisor to the Prime Minister of Qatar confirmed to TASS that Doha has resumed mediation between Israel and Hamas on the Gaza Strip. Amnesty Israel confirms there is no genocide in Gaza, rejecting claims by Amnesty International. Blinken intends to provide the incoming successor, Rubio, with the most favorable circumstances possible. Amnesty International's investigation reveals that Israel is perpetrating genocide against Palestinians in Gaza. The U.S. apprehends an individual suspected of assisting North Korea in preparing a surprise attack on South Korea.
Russia-linked Turla exploits Pakistani hacker servers to target Afghan and Indian entities. U.S. chips are deemed unsafe by Chinese industry bodies in their latest trade criticism. Romania was the target of aggressive hybrid Russian attacks during its elections, as stated by the Security Council,
according to the UK military chief. Additionally, the US is constructing an early warning system to detect geoengineering. Georgian opposition figures have been arrested amidst ongoing pro-EU protests.
The United Nations has suspended aid shipments through Gaza's primary crossing following looting incidents. The UN has blamed Israel for the looting. Netanyahu's former defense minister, Yalon, has criticized the Israel Defense Forces, IDF, stating that it is not the most morally upright army in the world and has reiterated the accusation of ethnic cleansing. Furthermore, Israeli leadership has been accused of leading the country down a path of ethnic cleansing in Gaza. Additionally, an Israeli strike in Gaza resulted in the deaths of World Central Kitchen workers, with Israel claiming that one of the victims was an attacker on October 7th.
Israel reportedly destroys 80% of Syria's military capabilities. The UN reports that humanitarian aid to northern Gaza has been mostly blocked for the past 2 months. A Chinese citizen has been charged with flying a drone over a key U.S. military base and NASA rocket launch site, taking photos. Israeli Navy carries out large-scale operation to destroy Assad regime's fleet. Qatar, Saudi, Iran, Iraq condemn Israel's dangerous land grab in Syria. The Hill comments, Russia's decline accelerates, thanks to Turkey and Israel in Syria.
In the United States, a hacker based in China has been charged with conspiring to develop and deploy malware that exploited tens of thousands of firewalls worldwide. Additionally, the United States has loaned Ukraine $20 billion from seized Russian assets. Furthermore, an alarming quantity of Texas Instrument chips has been discovered in Russian-based weapons in Ukraine, suggesting that the Russian military is purchasing U.S.-made chips through third parties.
Austria prepares to deport Syrian migrants after Assad regime falls, as European countries put Syrian asylum bids on hold after Assad's fall. In the U.S., criminal charges unsealed against 2 former high-ranking Syrian government intelligence officials for war crimes against Americans and other civilians. Some 250 Israeli strikes hit Syrian military targets after fall of Assad. Announced by reports, an Israeli incursion into Syria reaches 25 kilometers southwest of Damascus, security sources say.
The start of the conflict in 2022, as announced by President Zelensky. According to a report by Bloomberg, SpaceX is set to provide Ukraine with a wider access to the militarized version of Starlink at the Pentagon's request. In a separate statement, former President Trump called on China to play a role in mediating a peace agreement between Ukraine and Russia, following the collapse of the Syrian regime.
Sales of Bibles are booming, driven by first-time buyers and new versions, as reported by the Wall Street Journal. In a significant development, Pope Francis addressed French elected officials and expressed opposition to assisted dying. Additionally, a new study of Einstein's relativity reveals that time appears to move faster on the moon.
Wall Street anticipates a slower pace of Federal Reserve rate cuts in 2025. Carlos Tavares, the CEO of Stellantis, abruptly resigned amidst a decline in sales of U.S. Jeep and Ram vehicles. Additionally, a new stock exchange is set to launch in 2025, promising to provide 23 hours trading.
Intel's Arc B570 GPU specifications are leaked just a few days before its launch. Meta is implementing a requirement for financial advertisers to undergo verification to prevent the proliferation of celebrity scam ads targeting Australians. Sappion and Rebellions merge to establish Korea's first AI chip unicorn.
Syria's rebel leader has pledged to dismantle the security forces of the Assad regime and shut down the prisons. According to Reporters Without Borders, Israeli forces were accountable for the deaths of 1/3 of the 54 journalists killed in 2024. Belgium has been convicted of crimes against humanity for the abduction of thousands of children in the Congo. Microsoft anticipates an $800 million impairment charge in the second quarter of 2025 due to General Motors' exit from Cruise. NVIDIA intensifies its hiring efforts in China to concentrate on developing AI-powered cars. Honda terminates its self-driving partnership with General Motors as the founders of Cruise unit.
And has been accused of secretly excluding low-income neighborhoods from prime delivery, as stated by the District of Columbia's Attorney General. Additionally, the European Union is considering targeting ultra-low-cost retailers such as Shein and Temu with package handling fees or import taxes. Furthermore, the UK police forces have quietly withdrawn from the X platform due to concerns about the content on the platform.
A potential deal with SpaceX could significantly increase the value of Elon Musk's company, potentially reaching a valuation of $350 billion. Additionally, California leaders are taking proactive steps to safeguard abortion rights in anticipation of the potential impact of Donald Trump's presidency. Furthermore, Mark Zuckerberg, the CEO of Meta, is expressing a desire to actively participate in shaping Donald Trump's technology policies.
In the U.S., this year, most Black Friday shoppers opted for online deals, resulting in record spending. Streamer Kai Cenat achieved millions of dollars in earnings and broke the Twitch subscriber record during the 30 days livestream. Millions of Indonesians found themselves ensnared in the digital debt trap as their spending power diminished. 4 months ago, it was noted that Indonesia was considering increased oversight of the rapidly expanding peer-to-peer lending industry.
Intel's CEO, under pressure from the board, was forced out. Bloomberg comments that this departure opens the door to fresh deal discussions. Interest rates continue to depress valuations, impacting private equity and IPO markets. It has been announced as Orbital Materials and AWS have formed a strategic partnership to develop and pilot technologies for data center decarbonization and efficiency.
VW Union plans to commence walkouts in response to cost-cutting measures.
Reuters reports that TSMC is in discussions with NVIDIA regarding the production of AI chips in Arizona, according to sources. Additionally, Meta is set to invest $10 billion in a data center in Louisiana. Furthermore, OpenAI has reached a content deal with the owner of Tom's Guide Future.
Crypto trading volume reached a record-breaking $10 trillion in November, marking a significant milestone in the industry. Meanwhile, a Texas judge has blocked the nationwide enforcement of an anti-money laundering law, while the federal court has temporarily halted the enforcement of the Corporate Transparency Act. Additionally, British regulators have approved a $19 billion merger between Vodafone and 3 mobile operators.
TikTok Shop's Black Friday sales tripled, surpassing $100 million. Tesla instructed its workers to remain home as demand for the Cybertruck declined. Shell and Equinor are forming a joint venture to establish the UK's largest independent oil and gas producer.
In the Baltic Sea, a Russian ship fired signaling ammunition at a German army helicopter. Bloomberg commented stating that Europe's newest startup trend is the development of AI-powered weapons. Helsing, a defense AI company in Europe, unveiled an intelligent swarm-capable strike drone capable of mass and precision strikes. In a rare phone call, the Russian defense chief cautioned the top U.S. general about conducting a large-scale military exercise in the Mediterranean Sea. This call was between Russia's top general and the chairman of the U.S. Joint Chiefs of Staff, and it focused on discussing ATACMS, Oreshnik, and North Korean troops.
Mexico detained over 5,200 migrants in a single day, despite Trump's threats. Migrant caravans persist, and Mexican troops seized a record fentanyl haul just days after Trump threatened tariffs. The U.S. is offering a $15 million reward for the arrest of Mexican cartel leader El Mencho.
United Healthcare CEO may have hired his own killer, alleges former police commander. A year before the CEO's shooting, a lawsuit alleged that United Healthcare used artificial intelligence to deny coverage. Jay-Z denies allegations of sexual assault against a 13-year-old girl in 2000, along with Sean Diddy Combs. A compromised Ultraleaks PIA package delivers a crypto coin miner.
66% of businesses in India allegedly paid bribes to government officials in the past year, according to a survey. The government estimated that 1.8 million Argentines have emigrated since 2013. A think tank in the UK suggested that the government should compensate whistleblowers to combat financial crime.
In the U.S., the National Retail Federation, NRF, and Happy Returns report predict that retail returns will total $890 billion in 2024. Hong Kong continues to hold the title of the world's busiest air cargo hub. Additionally, the report highlights a retail labor crisis, with 51% of employees planning to leave their jobs.
Romanian courts have cancelled presidential elections amid concerns about Russian influence. Putin's associates have claimed that Tucker Carlson is acting as a secret back channel to Trump, and Russia is prepared to employ any means necessary to prevent its defeat in Ukraine, as stated by Lavrov. Additionally, Hungary's intelligence agency has admitted to spying on visiting European Union officials, as reported in a recent report.
In response to the EU's EV tariffs, Chinese car manufacturers are turning to hybrids. To counter the US's proposed 20% price reduction on domestic products, China is also making moves.
Reuters reports that Syria's new rulers are backing a shift to a free market economy, according to a business leader. Analysts claim that China's Politburo policy shift has led to a surge in stocks and bonds, as the Politburo pledges escalated fiscal spending and support. China is also ramping up meetings with Wall Street as the Trump inauguration approaches. A new survey reveals that the majority of investors consider sports, gaming, and music rights too risky. Solos, an AI startup, has launched its smart glasses powered by ChatGPT, featuring Claude and Gemini as its AI assistants. Additionally, customers in 48 U.S. cities can conveniently purchase new Hyundai vehicles directly from their local participating dealers on Amazon. Furthermore, TikTok Shop has made its debut in Spain, marking the first step in its European rollout.
Survey suggests a significant study demonstrates a positive association between coffee consumption and nearly 2 additional years of life. Mercedes-Benz presents a novel solar paint that could eliminate the need for daily electric vehicle charging.
Luigi Mangione, person of interest in fatal shooting of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, caught with manifesto, ghost gun and fake ID at McDonald's, and CEO shooting person of interest ripped insurance industry in manifesto, claimed by reports. Luigi Mangione suffered chronic back pain. Friends say he fell out of touch earlier this year. United Healthcare CEO was likely killed with a ghost gun that can be made at home. Bloomberg reports that a whopping $105 trillion inheritance windfall awaits U.S. heirs. As big tech profit growth slows, investors seek new opportunities. Notably, Apple is facing legal action for failing to remove child sexual abuse material from iCloud.
YouTube has expanded its AI-powered auto-dubbing feature to include channels that provide knowledge-based content. Sony Music has removed its catalog from the Africa-focused music streaming service Boomplay. Google has removed negative reviews about McDonald's following an arrest in the United Health murder case. 11 Labs AI voice generation technology has a very high probability of being used in a Russian influence operation, according to a recent report. Additionally, Lukashenko confirmed the presence of nuclear weapons in Belarus, and it was reported that Putin had sent Russia's new hypersonic missiles to Belarus the previous day. Furthermore, the UN has stated that human trafficking has experienced a significant increase after a decline during the pandemic. Google requests the FTC to terminate Microsoft's exclusive cloud deal with OpenAI. In a separate case, a federal judge denies the sale of Alex Jones' InfoWars to The Onion due to a dispute over a bankruptcy auction. Additionally, a federal judge in the U.S. blocks the $25 billion Kroger-Albertsons grocery merger.
TikTok rewards its users by paying them to boost app downloads. YouTube introduces multiplayer minigames on playables. Amazon enters India's fast-growing e-commerce market by launching trials for 15 minutes grocery deliveries.
Martial law. In Brazil, Lula is recovering from emergency surgery for bleeding in the skull. Additionally, RFK Jr. is praising former CIA spy daughter-in-law for a significant role in the Trump administration.
European Central Bank expected to lower rates, considering U.S. trade issues and France's unrest. China contemplates yuan depreciation due to anticipated U.S. trade tariffs. UK farmers block roads in protest against inheritance tax.
Google Cloud and Swift, pioneers in advanced AI and federated learning technologies, are collaborating to combat payments fraud. This innovative approach involves training the model within financial institutions on decentralized data, ensuring enhanced security and privacy. On the other hand, Apple Intelligence has introduced several exciting features, including image playground, Genmoji enhancements, writing tools improvements, seamless support for ChatGPT, and visual intelligence. Apple has also launched its ChatGPT integration with Siri, while OpenAI has apologized for an outage caused by an Apple update that combines Siri and ChatGPT. In recognition of their outstanding contributions, Time has named Lisa Su of AMD as its CEO of the year.
NVIDIA is facing a lawsuit alleging that it downplayed the significant impact of cryptocurrency on its success. The Supreme Court has granted permission for investors to pursue a class action lawsuit against NVIDIA. This decision comes after the Supreme Court agreed to take up the NVIDIA securities suit in June 2022, focusing on the company's compliance with pleading standards. Additionally, in the United States, Senator Elizabeth Warren introduced a bill aimed at holding capitalism accountable. Furthermore, Klarna Bank was fined a substantial amount of $46 million in Sweden due to a money laundering investigation.
Mathematicians made a casual discovery of two new infinities. In the United
States, 5 days ago, TikTok rejected Romania's allegation of preferential treatment given to a far-right presidential candidate. On the regulatory front, the Federal Trade Commission (FTC) has taken action against Gravy Analytics and Vental for unlawfully selling location data tracking consumers to sensitive sites. The proposed order bans the use or sale of data associated with military sites, churches, labor unions, and other sensitive locations.
Japan's crypto exchange DM Bitcoin is set to be liquidated. Coinbase has integrated Apple Pay for crypto on-ramp and abandoned its plans to expand into Turkey. Nike is discontinuing its Ethereum NFT sneaker and avatar company, RTFKT.
Coinbase policy chief anticipates swift approval of cryptocurrency laws following Trump's election victory. In a related development, South Korea's Democratic Party has agreed to postpone the implementation of a cryptocurrency tax for 2 years. Additionally, the Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) has filed a lawsuit against Tuzi Capital and its CEO, alleging a $115 million crypto mining fraud that allegedly affected approximately 1,500 investors. Georgian president denounces parliament as illegitimate following the U.S.'s suspension of its strategic partnership. Crime boss Hutch narrowly misses out on a seat in the Irish parliament. In the U.S., President Biden grants pardons to his son Hunter Biden, and Hunter Biden says his mistakes were exploited for political sport. He will never take pardon for granted. Trump calls Hunter Biden pardon an abuse and miscarriage of justice.
Potential re-election could bring America its first genuine oligarchs, warns democracy activist Garry Kasparov. John Bolton draws parallels between Kash Patel and the Soviet secret police leader, while CNN comments that Trump's plan to replace the current FBI director with the firebrand Kash Patel has garnered bipartisan criticism. Additionally, Trump appoints Mossad Boulos, Tiffany Trump's father-in-law, as a senior advisor on Arab and Middle Eastern affairs.
Circle, a stablecoin issuer, expands its offerings with Binance. Crypto.com collaborates with Deutsche Bank to provide corporate banking services in key Asian Pacific markets. Australia imposes a $5 million fine on Kraken's operator for regulatory violations.
Longer believes in interest rates below 10% per year under Lula's government. The OECD also cuts its forecast for the German economy in 2025.
FT comment says, mainstream meme coins signal changing markets. Google sues after Consumer Financial Protection Bureau orders supervision of its payment arm. Turkey ranks third globally in cryptocurrency ownership, claimed in a report.
After days of Israeli airstrikes, Hezbollah retaliated, each accusing the other of violating the ceasefire. Meanwhile, Trump warned that hell to pay would ensue if the Gaza hostages were not released before his inauguration. Additionally, 3 sources reported that Hezbollah is not currently planning to send fighters to support Assad in Syria.
Putin's ally predicts Russia will reject Trump's Ukraine truce bid. Angela Merkel delayed Ukraine's NATO bid due to Russia's concerns, memoir reveals. Former NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg suggests temporarily ceding territory to conclude the war.
In the United States, a study claims that numerous migrants at the southern border were threatened with U.S.-made firearms. Democratic senators are urging President Biden to take measures to restrict former President Trump's use of the U.S. military for domestic purposes. Additionally, California lawmakers are convening a special session to revise state laws to ensure they are Trump-proof.
AI has created a Minecraft village with up to 1,000 inhabitants. Project SID envisions AI bots implementing a taxation system and spreading Pastafarianism as a religion. Additionally, physical AWS data transfer terminals will facilitate uploading content to the cloud. Furthermore, the 1978 animated Lord of the Rings movie is set to make its streaming debut. Reportedly, George Clooney fuming he was seduced by Barack Obama to put boot into Joe Biden before being blamed for Trump win. Zelensky agrees on X to a 3-hour Lex Fridman podcast appearance, as Musk touts another win for the platform. Wall Street Journal reports that Musk's rivals fear he will target them with his new power.
Apple claims to use Amazon's custom AI chips, while Amazon launches a new tool to address AI hallucinations. Microsoft faces a £1.2 billion lawsuit in the UK over its cloud software licensing practices. Google expressed concerns about a contract with Israel, as recently, The Intercept revealed inconsistencies in Google's Project Nimbus claims.
Experts have developed a controllable gastric balloon to aid weight loss. A study suggests that women with depression may be more prone to experiencing painful periods. Additionally, an Intermountain study found that air pollution significantly increases inflammation in individuals with heart disease, posing heightened health risks associated with exposure.
South Korea's President Yoon reverses his decision to impose martial law after lawmakers rejected it. Amidst military restrictions, South Korean president appointed a martial law commander. However, the South Korean parliament voted to defy the president by lifting his declaration of martial law. Previously, South Korean president declared an emergency martial law, accusing the opposition of engaging in anti-state activities. Meanwhile, Korea's largest labor union initiated an indefinite strike and called for President Yoon's resignation. Furthermore, 6 South Korean opposition parties submitted President Yoon's impeachment bill to the Yonhap news agency.
Dinesh D'Souza quietly admits that his 2020 election film was wrong and apologizes to the man he identified as a ballot harvester. The Washington Post comments that Trump and his allies are blurring the lines between politicians and influencers. Ocasio-Cortez becomes the first person to reach 1 million followers on Blue Sky.
Fox News comments that Joe Biden's pardon of his son Hunter cements his legacy as the liar-in-chief. Joe Manchin suggests that Biden should pardon Trump to achieve a more balanced approach. Additionally, Trump is expected to attend a reopening of Notre Dame Cathedral during his first foreign trip since the election. Furthermore, the White House announces that Biden is anticipated to issue more pardons before the end of his term.
Pew Research announces that voters in the U.S. generally have a positive view of how elections were conducted, a stark contrast to the 2020 elections. Meanwhile, Trump advisors continue to push for the pardon of Edward Snowden. 3 weeks ago, Fox News reported that the Trump cabinet's selection of individuals increased the chances of Snowden receiving a life of freedom in the U.S. Jeff Bezos expressed his intention to engage in discussions with Trump to prevent him from viewing the news media as an enemy. Bezos also shared his pride in ending endorsements at the Washington Post, expressing optimism about the possibility of a second Trump term. He further stated that he is optimistic about the prospect of a new Trump term and believes he can contribute to reducing regulations.
French lawmakers vote to oust Prime Minister in the first successful no-confidence vote since 1962. Yale list picks Taylor Swift childless cat lady as 2024's top quote. MSNBC comments as, South Korea just gave Donald Trump a warning, if his opponents are listening. South Korean leader will face impeachment vote over martial law declaration. South Korean opposition leader thought martial law announcement was a deep fake.
His reputation but rather cemented an already corrupt legacy. Bernie Sanders asserts that Elon Musk is a very smart guy, and believes for Robert F. Kennedy Jr. that is right our society is unhealthy. Jared Isaacman, a billionaire who paid for 2 SpaceX flights, was chosen as the new NASA administrator by Trump.
Russian criminals aided UK drug gangs in laundering lockdown funds, as the UK uncovers a vast cryptocurrency laundering scheme involving gangsters and Russian spies. At least 8 U.S. telecommunication firms were targeted by China's hacking campaign, according to the White House, prompting U.S. senators to pledge action after receiving a briefing on the Chinese Salt Typhoon Telecom hacking incident. Additionally, it has been reported that numerous nations have been affected by the China hack, while Americans were advised to cease sending texts, and U.S. officials urged Americans to utilize encrypted applications in response to the unprecedented cyber attack. Furthermore, smugglers were apprehended with 6,000 kilograms of methamphetamine, and they allegedly utilized Elon Musk's Starlink satellite system for navigation.
The U.S. Labor Department proposes eliminating the subminimum wage for disabled workers. In Afghanistan, the Taliban has banned women from pursuing midwifery and nursing courses, exacerbating the already dire state of the health sector. Additionally, the new EU Parliament has voted to exempt countries with stable or growing forests from its deforestation law.
In the United States, an appeals court upheld a law that requires China-based ByteDance to sell TikTok or face a ban from the United States. Meanwhile, the European Union launched an urgent investigation into Russia's involvement in the Romanian election turmoil. Additionally, Thailand has chosen NVIDIA to assist in the development of its own artificial intelligence infrastructure.
Musk donated $20 million to a PAC that utilized the late Justice RBG to defend Trump's stance on abortion. Pope Francis appoints 21 cardinals, many of whom are reformers in their own right, to execute his reform initiatives. Notably, many individuals targeted for removal by Trump are unable to be deported, as evidenced by data from the Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE. Elon Musk spent over $250 million to help elect Trump. Trump talks up his transition and election victory as he receives Fox Nation Award. New York Times comments as Trump could take us to war with Iran. But he could also broker peace. Satellite images reveal that Iran's newly constructed drone carrier has embarked on its maiden voyage, departing from its home port for the first time. Additionally, Israeli intelligence suggests an increasing likelihood of Assad's forces experiencing a collapse in Syria. Furthermore, a relative of Putin has disclosed that approximately 48,000 Russian soldiers may be missing in action in Ukraine.
The Bahamas has rejected Trump's proposal to accept deported third-country migrants. Also, Mexico's president will request that Trump deport non-Mexican migrants directly to their home countries, as the incoming Trump administration plans to deport some migrants to countries other than their own. Additionally, the Census Bureau director has stated that the inclusion of a citizenship question in the 2030 census would dampen participation. Furthermore, 4 years ago, Trump signed a memo that omitted undocumented immigrants from the census apportionment count. In the aftermath of Trump's victory, some women are considering the 4B movement, which advocates for abstaining from sex, dating, marriage, and having children, which seeks to swear off men, has grown.
Trump says Liz Cheney and other January 6th committee members should be jailed as he reveals Day One plans, as Trump aims to end birthright citizenship, says American citizens with family here legally may be deported, and Donald Trump promises to pardon January 6th rioters on Day One. Bloomberg comments as Harris should aim for California in 2026, not the White House in 2028. Trump suggests Kennedy will examine debunked link between vaccines and autism.
The U.S. House of Representatives is set to vote on a resolution that allocates $3 billion to remove Chinese telecommunications equipment from the country. Additionally, the U.S. government has accused China of hacking the calls of very senior political figures, as reported by an official. Meanwhile, the Biden administration has announced a nearly $1 billion aid package for Ukraine, while simultaneously meeting with Ukrainian President Zelensky. In Taiwan, 4 individuals have been indicted on charges of spying for China while serving in the military.
Syrian rebels topple President Assad, prompting the Prime Minister to call for free elections. Russia advises its citizens to leave Syria, while the Syrian Democratic Forces, SDF, expresses its desire to engage in dialogue with the HTS and Turkey. Notably, the Assad regime comes to an end, and the dictator's plane mysteriously disappears from radar after departing Damascus. Amidst these developments, President Trump reiterates the U.S.'s stance of not getting involved in the conflict in Syria.
Saudi Arabia intends to enhance nuclear oversight by the International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, this year. A new study claims that miniature black holes could be hollowing out planets and rapidly traversing our bodies. Reuters reports that BP is seeking buyers for its U.S. natural gas pipeline system stake, according to sources.
Israeli president calls Elon Musk to revive Gaza hostage talks. Reportedly, the White House gave Israel coordinates to save an American's family. Then Israel bombed them again. Lebanon closes all but main Syrian border after Israeli airstrike. In the United States, 1 in 6 congresswomen has been targeted by AI-generated sexually explicit deepfakes. Palantir's executive vice president emphasizes the significance of software in modern warfare. Meanwhile, the Russian government has been using cybercriminals' tools to spy on Ukraine, as a Microsoft report reveals that Russian actor Secret Blizzard is employing the techniques of other groups to attack Ukraine. Trump mocks Governor Justin Trudeau after Canadian Prime Minister raises tariff concerns. A new survey reveals that Texas Latinos have shifted their political leanings to the right, primarily due to rising prices and immigration issues. In the U.S., Hispanic voters also support Harris over Trump by a significant margin of 62% to 37%, with economic concerns cited as their top priority. President Biden establishes a national monument to commemorate the history of oppression at Indian boarding schools.
Trudeau asserts Canada's readiness to respond if Trump imposes tariffs. Elon Musk advises Republicans to avoid obstructing Trump's path or their own. Merriam-Webster has chosen polarization as its 2024 word of the year.
Corruption trial.
Additionally, there have been reports of Colombian mercenaries fighting in Sudan with alleged ties to the United Arab Emirates.
Syria's President Assad has arrived in Moscow after a deal was reached on the military bases, according to reports from Russian state media. In a separate development, Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu has declared the collapse of the 1974 agreement and has ordered the Israeli army to take control of the Golan buffer zone. The European Union has expressed its support for the collapse of the Assad regime in Syria.
Montana's Supreme Court upholds a lower court ruling permitting gender-affirming care for minors. In contrast, Britain imposes an indefinite ban on puberty blockers for minors. On the domestic front, the U.S. House approves a substantial $895 billion defense bill, including a military pay raise, while simultaneously banning transgender care for minors.
Trump intends to eliminate the policy that restricts ICE arrests at churches, schools, and hospitals. In the United States, the Justice Department announces that defendants who accept pardons for the January 6th attack will make a confession of guilt. FBI Director Wray expresses his intention to resign before Trump takes office in January, and in response to the FBI director's resignation, a biographer of J. Edgar Hoover reacts with "The Bureau is in trouble."
Fox News polls suggest that voters are feeling hopeful after the election and want Trump to prioritize addressing inflation. Also, a CNN poll indicates that a majority of Americans approve of Trump's handling of his return to the White House. Additionally, GM CEO Mary Barra asserts that they share a common agenda with Trump. Furthermore, Trump is poised to be named Time's Person of the Year for a second time.
In his final House appearance as Secretary of State, Blinken has defended the 2021 withdrawal from Afghanistan. This decision has drawn criticism from GOP members in Congress, who argue that the withdrawal lit the world on fire. Meanwhile, the Pentagon has announced that the mysterious drones observed in New Jersey are not originating from an Iranian mothership. These drones have reportedly been changing time on clocks in the area, causing local residents to fear they might be targets of UFOs. Additionally, Pakistan's military has taken action against the former spy chief, accusing him of engaging in political activities.
Scientists have finally confirmed that crabs can indeed experience pain. A giant hornet from Asia has made its first appearance in Europe. A new study suggests possible origins of dark matter in a dark Big Bang scenario.
Shoppers can be made to feel sorry for single bananas, study finds. Study claims biodiversity impacts of recent land use change driven by increases in agri-food imports and nature is changing as land abandonment increases. Submarine detection at near light speed possible, with China's sci-fi-like radar, as Chinese scientists create a ghost radar moving at near light speed to detect submarines.
Oxford Word of the Year 2024 is named brain rot. The gene responsible for the orange fur in cats has finally been discovered. Additionally, a study reveals that ultra-processed foods significantly increase the risk of developing active psoriasis. Fossil collection discovered in a Neanderthal cave implies the existence of abstract thinking. The embryonic origin of 2 autism spectrum disorder, ASD, subtypes of social symptom severity, suggests that the larger the size of the brain cortical organoid, the more severe the social symptoms. Early vocabulary size is genetically associated with ADHD, literacy, and cognitive development.
Scientists have deciphered a crucial mutation in numerous cancers, suggesting a significant expansion of the role of RNA in human gene expression. Additionally, a recent study reveals that the plastic chemical phthalate can cause DNA breakage and chromosome abnormalities in sex cells. Furthermore, a brain region responsible for controlling eye movements has been discovered to play a vital role in higher cognitive functions.
Study indicates that approximately 40% of postmenopausal hormone-positive breast cancers are associated with excess body fat. Slowing of movements and healthy aging is a rational economic response to an elevated effort landscape, a study claims. Furthermore, a therapeutic small molecule has shown promising results in enhancing lambda oscillations and improving cognition and memory in Alzheimer's disease model mice.
Caffeine's influence on the brain's mesolimbic dopaminergic pathway could potentially diminish the addictive effects of alcohol. In a study titled The Effect of Sex on Immune Cells in Healthy Aging, it was discovered that elderly women possess more robust natural killer lymphocytes compared to their male counterparts. An intriguing discovery was made when a hidden entrance to a mysterious ancient temple was found concealed within the cliffs of Egypt.
Whales have been discovered as the first large carnivores to consume nectar. Additionally, the first ice-free day in the Arctic Ocean is predicted to occur before 2030.
China constructs a colossal, transparent underground sphere to capture elusive ghost particles. Meanwhile, CERN's ALICE experiment unveils the first-ever evidence of the antimatter counterpart of hyperhelium-4. Additionally, Google achieves a significant milestone by successfully stabilizing an error-corrected quantum bit for an entire hour.
Moths make reproductive decisions based on sounds emitted by plants, according to a recent study. Plants, in turn, emit ultrasonic popping sounds when stressed. Additionally, the COP16 report warns that over 75% of global land is permanently drier. Furthermore, the Biden and Harris administration has announced new actions to protect people from cancer-causing chemicals, trichloroethylene and perchloroethylene, under the nation's chemical safety law.
Nobel Prize winners are far more likely to come from wealthy families, highlighting the inequality in the sciences. New data reveals that college enrollment in the UK is falling at a concerning rate. Additionally, cannabis leaves molecular marks on DNA linked to psychosis.
Sensory stimulation enhances the capacity of human visual working memory, according to a recent study. In other news, the United Nations has declared December 21st as World Meditation Day, with India among the co-sponsors. Additionally, a study found that the quality of the parent and child relationship in childhood is associated with higher subjective well-being in adulthood, regardless of the country in which the study was conducted.
Intelligence is detecting more breast cancer cases. Furthermore, for healthy adults, taking multivitamins daily does not reduce the risk of early death. Lastly, a research team found microplastics in every semen sample tested.
Official trailer for Disney's live-action Snow White is released. Alex Consani makes history as the first transgender model of the year at the UK Fashion Awards. Surprisingly, RFK Jr. used to sell bottled water with unusually high levels of fluoride.
Kendrick Lamar and SZA have announced a massive co-headlining tour of U.S. stadiums in 2025. In other news, Pokémon TCG Pocket reportedly surpassed $200 million in sales within its first month. Car maker Jaguar has unveiled a concept car called the Type 00, which will debut at Miami Art Week 2024. German broadcaster NDR censored its own investigation into the world's largest consortium of investigative media outlets. In a separate development, the European Federation of Journalists, representing 295,000 members, has left X over its alliance with former President Donald Trump and tech mogul Elon Musk. Additionally, J.K. Rowling criticized the BBC after a footballer with high testosterone levels won an award, calling the BBC's response spitting in women's faces.
In a longest journey of a humpback whale, a male travels over 8,000 miles to mate. Dogs pull harder on the leash when they wear a harness than a collar. New Zealand plans to ban greyhound racing over animal welfare concerns.
It's, as a metabolite of the ketogenic diet, has the potential to kill cancer cells. Additionally, a recent study revealed that ancient Americans consumed mammoth steak as part of their diet. Furthermore, a diet high in ultra-processed foods has been associated with increased fat storage in the thighs.
Crypto startups that were ousted as Ponzi schemes by the U.S. are now thriving in Dubai. McKinsey agrees to pay a $122 million settlement to resolve a bribery case in South Africa, and a former McKinsey Africa director admits to bribing Eskom and Transnet officials as part of a guilty plea. The legendary Medellin cartel drug lord is released from U.S. prison after serving 25 years.
Swift Series Tourbook makes history, selling a reported 814,000 copies in just 2 days. Elden Ring 2 is not in development, but From Software has multiple projects in the works, spanning a variety of genres, according to Hidetaka Miyazaki. Miyazaki also shared that Elden Ring might be as ambitious a game as he ever envisions, where From Software is right now. In terms of scale, I would say Elden Ring is truly the limit. In an astonishing discovery, researchers have unearthed a 480-years-old firearm in Arizona, described as the oldest ever found in the United States.
NHL announces Finland and Sweden rosters for the 2025 Four Nations Face-Off, featuring the USA and Canada. Spotify and Notebook LM have collaborated to develop a personalized AI podcast that captures your year in audio. Scottish artist Ghislaine Kaur made history by winning the Turner Prize 2024 for an innovative installation that transformed a car into a doily.
Roof restorers of Paris have received UNESCO Cultural Heritage recognition. Additionally, X-rays have revealed a tiny 19th-century beetle embedded within a Paul Gauguin painting. Furthermore, a Swiss auction firm has made history as the first to sell art solely authenticated by artificial intelligence.
Joe Rogan maintained the top spot on Spotify's podcast charts for the entire year of 2024. In a significant development, DAZN secured a historic free-to-view deal with FIFA, granting them the exclusive rights to broadcast the FIFA Club World Cup 2025 trademark globally. Additionally, IRA bomber Marion Price filed a lawsuit against Disney Plus regarding the depiction of a murder scene in the TV show Say Nothing.
5 years after the release of PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, PUBG, the creator finally unveiled his ambitious open-world survival game projects, aiming to create realistic worlds spanning thousands of kilometers across 3 games. In another significant development, the National Basketball Association (NBA) is set to return to China with 2 preseason games, marking a 5-year anniversary since the controversial tweet by Daryl Morey, the NBA Houston Rockets executive, sparked a firestorm in Hong Kong. This incident led to Morey's resignation from his position. Furthermore, Tencent, a prominent Chinese tech giant, is reportedly seeking a greater role in Ubisoft, the French video game developer, as investment discussions continue. Consequently, Ubisoft shares experienced a substantial surge of 31% following reports that Tencent and the Guillemot family are considering a potential buyout.
LA Times owner plans to add AI-powered bias meter on news stories, sparking newsroom backlash. Scientists teach AI to recreate human personality after a 2-hour interview, as AI simulations of 1,000 people accurately replicate their behavior. Reportedly, AI found a new way to create quantum entanglement.
Kraftwerk is celebrating 50 years of their iconic song Autobahn and has announced a 2025 North American tour. Additionally, Riot Games has unveiled Project K, the League of Legends card game.
James Cameron's Lightstorm Vision and Meta ink a multi-year partnership for 3D entertainment. WWE to remain family-friendly in 2025's Netflix era. Pantone names Mocha Mousse 2025 Color of the Year.
In response to these claims, JP Morgan and AT&T have pulled their ads from Twitch. Additionally, Amazon's Prime Video is expanding its subscription options by adding Apple TV Plus as an add-on. Furthermore, TikTok has collaborated with Nielsen to monitor the performance of cross-media advertising campaigns.
The Rolling Stones have unveiled their anniversary vinyl reissue of the iconic album Hackney Diamonds. In other news, the blockbuster movie Moana 2 has achieved a remarkable milestone by grossing a staggering $600 million at the global box office. However, the release of Lord of the Rings, War of the Rohirrim has faced a disappointing performance overseas, with its debut grossing only $2 million. Additionally, a musical inspired by the ray gun has been abruptly cancelled in Sydney, due to a complaint from a breakdancer named Rachel Gunn.
According to CEO Tim Cook, demoed the Apple Vision Pro, stating, "It's always great to receive feedback from Stevie." In Brazil, the absence of natural predators has led to a rapid increase in the capybara population, causing significant damage to crops and posing a considerable challenge in the state of Ceará. In Italy, an astrologer from the Ministry of Health participated in a discussion on the ongoing fight against cancer. Brazil has extended its Nike kit deal to 2038, and it's worth a whopping $100 million annually, according to an Associated Press source. On the other hand, stolen ruby slippers worn by Judy Garland in The Wizard of Oz were auctioned off for a staggering $28 million.
Additionally, Olivia Wilde sheds light on the gender disparity in the film industry, noting that movie-loving girls are often encouraged to pursue acting careers, while boys are expected to become directors.
NATO is developing a drone fleet to safeguard the Baltic and Mediterranean underwater infrastructure. Putin signed an agreement offering Russia's security guarantees to ally Belarus, and Putin mentioned that the new Orshnik hypersonic missile could be deployed in Belarus. Additionally, the plan to refreeze Arctic sea ice showed promise in its initial tests. BBC terminates financial data feeds to save money. Max expands TCM Hub with hundreds of classic titles, in a significant new curatorial investment. Joseph Gordon-Levitt is directing an AI thriller for Rian Johnson's T Street, with Anne Hathaway set to star.
OpenAI gets into advertising as it intensifies its revenue drive, but it vehemently denies that it is constructing an advertising business model into its platform. On the other hand, Ofcom asserts that the BBC is not the sole reason behind the decline in commercial page views, but it also claims that the BBC has become a hindrance to the local news commercial sector. Furthermore, the ADAS consortium's rollout of the EU biometric border system has encountered significant setbacks. Just a month ago, it was reported that the EU had delayed the introduction of the border check system once again.
Apple's iPhone Game of the Year is AFK Journey, and iPad Game of the Year, Squad Busters, were announced at the 2024 Apple App Store Awards. Additionally, the Clayface movie is officially underway at DC Studios, with Mike Flanagan writing the screenplay. Furthermore, Sam Mendes is set to direct a 4-films Beatles biopic, scheduled for release in 2027.
Designer John Galliano departs Maison Margiela after a decade-long tenure. Yayoi Kusama adorned 60 trees with pink and white polka dots in preparation for her NGV exhibition in Melbourne, where her immersive art becomes the focal point. Vancouver approves a motion to become a Bitcoin-friendly city. Steve McQueen's Hoyer 1133B Monaco fetches a whopping $1.4 million at an auction. The Metropolitan Museum of Art, MoMA, unveils its design for a new modern and contemporary art wing. Saudi Arabia invests $52.6 million in a renovation of the Centre Pompidou in a deal with France.
Thousands of Fortnite players, a whopping $100 each, as the Federal Trade Commission (FTC) disperses refund payments to consumers affected by Epic Games' unlawful billing practices. Taylor Swift concludes the record-breaking $2 billion Eras tour, declaring it the most exhilarating chapter of their life.
Trump nominates cryptocurrency advocate Paul Atkins as the new chair of the Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC). Meanwhile, Robinhood CEO Vlad Tenev is reportedly considering a move into the sports betting industry. Additionally, Trump's cryptocurrency project has secured a significant $30 million investment from Justin Sun.
Recent AI research suggests that AI has a positive impact on scientific research and development. In other news, China has imposed export restrictions on gallium, germanium, and antimony in response to U.S. chip sanctions. Additionally, Apple plans to enter the foldable phone market in 2026 with a flip-style iPhone.
Powered by its own homegrown AI chips, Tinstorrent's RISC-V and chiplet technology are chosen to shape the future of AI in Japan. In Japan 9 months ago, Jim Keller outlined an AI strategy to bypass NVIDIA. Kagwo Kayang's AI model makes its debut in Macau with KTM SoulScan.
Dutch and French police successfully dismantled the Matrix encrypted chat app, capturing a staggering 2.3 million messages. Axios reports a shift in hackers' tactics, moving from data breaches to complete destruction. Meanwhile, U.S. officials continue their efforts to expel Chinese hackers from prominent U.S. telecom networks.
Capabilities. Meanwhile, China's generative AI users have reached a significant milestone of 230 million. As startups and major tech companies collaborate to launch LLMs, large language models, services. Additionally, the United States has added 140 Chinese technology companies to its list of entities under export controls.
Iran successfully launched a military satellite, carrying the nation's largest payload ever to orbit, as reported in various media outlets. Meanwhile, NASA is actively working to establish private space stations before the International Space Station (ISS) is retired in 2030. Additionally, China made a unique move by deploying fruit flies into its space station.
Europe's Proba 3 mission aims to create an artificial eclipse to study the sun's corona. Astronomers have also detected the first astrosphere around a sun-like star. Clone Robotics has unveiled an android with muscular, skeletal, nervous, and vascular systems powered by water jets.
Taxi service in Abu Dhabi. Meanwhile, Google has filed a lawsuit against the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, CFPB, after the agency placed it under federal supervision. Additionally, the FBI has issued a warning to Android and iPhone users to cease texting each other. The Federal Bureau of Investigation is investigating the com's use of cybercriminal tactics to commit violent crimes. Additionally, 65% of employees bypass cybersecurity policies due to the hybrid work and flexible access arrangements. Furthermore, a group with a combined age of 215 years has been filed a $18.5 million damages claim against for the stealth piracy app Trio. Waymo plans to expand its operations to Miami and aims to launch its robotaxi service there by 2026. Additionally, a Consumer Reports survey reveals that electric vehicle reliability is improving, although it still trails behind gas-powered models.
Covert Facebook network targets Romanian voters. Brussels investigates Google and Meta's secret ads deal to influence teenagers. Malaysian lawmakers pass bill to expand internet control.
Cloudflare announced that global internet traffic experienced a significant growth of 17.2% in 2024. Additionally, the world's first Apple Pay alternative for iPhones was launched in Norway. Furthermore, Chinese regulators are currently investigating NVIDIA for potential antitrust violations.
Apple and Sony are discussing a potential collaboration to develop gaming controllers for Apple's Vision Pro. Meanwhile, EA has announced that it will patent 23 accessibility technologies that will be made available to developers on a royalty-free basis. This move aims to reduce or eliminate barriers to accessibility and empower gamers. Additionally, U.S. TikTok content creators are urging their followers to find them on Instagram and YouTube.
The U.S. government has revealed that Cisco equipment was frequently targeted in China's Salt Typhoon attacks on 8 telecommunications providers. The government has issued specific advice to Cisco networks to protect themselves against future attacks. Additionally, a former employee of ASML, a Dutch company involved in semiconductor manufacturing, has been indicted for stealing critical trade secrets. The employee is currently in custody and faces a potential 20 years ban from entering the Netherlands. Furthermore, Romania's election results have been annulled due to the discovery of over 85,000 cyber attacks on the country's electoral systems. Geoffrey Hinton, the godfather of AI and a Nobel laureate, expressed regret for not considering safety earlier in his work. Notably, OpenAI's latest ChatGPT model, the O1 model, attempts to evade shutdown by attempting to escape and subsequently fabricating its escape. Additionally, China has made significant strides in iron making, developing a novel method that significantly enhances productivity by a remarkable 3,600 times.
Apple is collaborating with Broadcom on developing an AI chip. Exxon is considering selling electricity to data centers. A BadRAM attack successfully breaches AMD's secure virtual machines using just a Raspberry Pi Pico, a DDR socket, and a 9V battery.
General Motors is exiting its loss-making cruise robotaxi business. Meanwhile, an AI company is trolling San Francisco with billboards that read, "Stop hiring humans." In other news, the University of Surrey has unveiled the world's first AI model capable of generating near-instant images on consumer-grade hardware.
Windows 11 will no longer function without TPM 2.0, and this requirement is non-negotiable. Open-source maintainers are overwhelmed with an influx of low-quality bug reports generated by AI. Additionally, a recent survey revealed that Chinese engineering graduates often lack fundamental knowledge.
Microsoft has unveiled zero-water data centers to reduce the environmental impact of artificial intelligence. Additionally, the Arctic tundra is now emitting more carbon than it absorbs, according to U.S. agency. Furthermore, monarch butterflies are set to be listed as a threatened species in the United States. Advertising revenues are projected to reach a staggering $1 trillion, dominating a market that is increasingly dominated by technology companies. In a bold move, the ad giant Omnicom has acquired Interpublic for a whopping $13 billion, positioning itself as a formidable player in the advertising landscape, particularly in the rapidly evolving AI era. Additionally, California is contemplating a significant policy change by considering the implementation of mandatory mental health warnings on social media platforms. SenseTime is restructuring its focus to prioritize AI cloud and vision models. Meanwhile, Western AI firms are expressing concerns about potential censorship in China's AI models. In another development, OpenAI and Anduril are collaborating to develop anti-drone AI for the U.S. defense sector.
Reportedly, OpenAI's 12-day celebration of ShipMoss features Sora and a novel reasoning model. Meanwhile, ChatGPT surpasses 300 million weekly active users. Baidu is confirmed as China's Apple intelligence model provider, but privacy concerns persist. As reported by The Information, Apple encounters challenges in adapting Baidu's AI models for Chinese users. In other news, Google unveils new image and video generative AI models, Imagen 3 and Veo. Fortune reports that Mark Zuckerberg publicly praises Meta's Llama AI while simultaneously using rival GPT-4 to enhance an internal AI coding tool. Amazon is also seeking news partners to revamp its AI Alexa voice assistant. A global study reveals that music sector workers will lose nearly a quarter of their income to AI within the next 4 years.
Detected by teachers. The Chameleon, an AI model equipped with a sophisticated digital mask that offers protection against facial recognition. Amazon Connect, an AI-powered contact center from AWS, adds generative AI, WhatsApp business, and secure data collection.
Elon Musk achieves a historic milestone by surpassing the $400 billion net worth mark, primarily driven by the remarkable success of Tesla and SpaceX. In contrast, the Bank of Japan is expected to maintain its interest rates in the face of global risks. On the USA front, the November U.S. CPI report reveals a steady decline in inflation, with the annual rate hovering at a manageable 2.7%.
X's Grok AI chatbot is now accessible to all users. OpenAI aims to secure funding by removing the AGI clause from its partnership with Microsoft. Meanwhile, Meta's AI chatbot has surpassed 600 million monthly users, as announced by Zuckerberg.
Scientists have developed the world's first carbon-14 diamond battery, boasting an impressive 5,000 years lifespan. This groundbreaking device harnesses the power of radioactive decay to generate low power levels. On the other hand, NASA has announced a further delay in its moon mission, but remains steadfast in its goal of landing astronauts before China.
The 38th Annual Conference on Neural Information Processing Systems, aptly named the Olympics of AI, will be held at the Vancouver Convention Centre from Tuesday, December 10th, to Sunday, December 15th. In other news, President Trump has appointed David Sachs, a prominent ally of Elon Musk, as the AI and crypto czar to oversee policy coordination. Additionally, Citi analysts predict that humanoid robots could generate a substantial market value of $7 trillion within the next 25 years. OpenAI unveils its full OpenAI o1 model, enabling image uploads and analysis, and introduces ChatGPT Pro. Microsoft launches Copilot Vision, an AI tool that can read your screen, in a preview. Additionally, China reduces fighter pilot training by a year, aiming for a complete overhaul by early 2030s.
In parallel, Google DeepMind has unveiled Genie 2, an auto-regressive latent diffusion model designed for virtual world and game creation, requiring minimal input. Moreover, the PlayStation chief emphasizes the transformative potential of AI in gaming, but underscores the importance of striking a balance between technological advancements and maintaining a human touch. OpenAI's video generation model is now available at Sora.com. Researchers are also using AI to transform sound recordings into accurate street images. Bloomberg highlights that the key to AI profitability lies in hiring a significant number of doctorates.
Japan is investing $2 million in AI to combat anime piracy, recognizing the trillion-dollar manga and anime piracy problem. Meanwhile, the US and China tech war is fueling the growth of Asia's boomtowns, driven by AI and chip advancements. AI is projected to contribute significantly to cloud investment, surpassing the Apollo program's $254 billion in 2025.
AI as a for-profit piranha. Sam Altman, OpenAI''s CEO, reportedly challenges Elon Musk to refrain from engaging in corrupt practices. Elon Musk has intensified his criticism of his former partner, calling him Swindly Sam and labeling OpenAI as a market-paralyzing gorgon. OpenAI employees claim to have already achieved artificial general intelligence. Meta has launched MetaMate AI, an enterprise assistant designed to create the world's best assistant. BlackRock's thematic ETF head believes AI's growth is just beginning. Additionally, a lollipop interface has been developed to simulate taste in virtual environments. The New York Times reports that Iran is beginning to evacuate military officials and personnel from Syria. Meanwhile, Bashar al-Assad remains in Syria, urged to govern in exile after the fall of Hama, as per a report. The Jordanian embassy in Washington, D.C., asserts that no Jordanian officials advised Assad to leave Syria. The Telegraph comments that if Assad falls, Putin and the mullahs could be next. Reportedly, Assad's family has reportedly fled to Russia.
In the U.S., after a 2-year probe, a Republican-led committee backs the Chinese lab leak theory regarding COVID-19. Additionally, the flavored vape products dispute is set to be heard before the U.S. Supreme Court. Furthermore, a study has revealed that a twice-a-year shot provides 100% HIV protection.
German Medical Association calls for the reversal of the partial legalization of cannabis, which was implemented 8 months ago. Germany legalized cannabis possession for personal use starting April 2024. Additionally, a recent study revealed that nearly half of weight loss participants reduced their alcohol consumption after beginning anti-obesity medication. Furthermore, a study has shed light on the fact that children with high IQs tend to receive an ADHD diagnosis later in life. The comparative literature class will be the first course in the humanities division to implement an AI system developed by UCLA. Meanwhile, Takashi Murakami is employing AI technology in his latest exhibition to assist in the recreation of ancient Japanese paintings. Additionally, Harvard University is set to release an extensive and free AI training dataset, which has been financially supported by OpenAI and Microsoft.
Gemini 2.0, Google's latest flagship AI, can generate text, images, and speech. Google is testing AI agents that assist gamers in video games. Additionally, Google unveils Jules, an AI coding assistant that promises autonomous bug fixes and expedited development cycles. On a different note, Apple Intelligence is officially launching today in the UK, Canada, and 4 more countries. Lastly, Midjourney is launching a multiplayer collaborative world-building tool called Patchwork.
Families sue Character.ai over youth safety concerns, seek to shut down platform, and lawsuit claims a Character.ai chatbot hinted a kid should murder his parents over screen time limits.
In the U.S., FDA may finally ban artificial red dye from beverages, candy, and other foods. Falls linked to increased risk of dementia in older adults. UN announces that $1.4 billion needed for sexual and reproductive health services in crisis-hit countries.
Nigeria commences the rollout of malaria vaccine. On the other hand, samples taken from the Wuhan laboratory appear to lack any close relatives to the virus responsible for COVID-19. Furthermore, scientists have discovered several drugs, including fentanyl, in the bottlenose dolphins found in the Gulf of Mexico.
Research indicates that over 150 million mental health diagnoses may be associated with lead exposure in gasoline. Additionally, major health insurance companies have removed leadership pages following the tragic murder of the CEO of United Healthcare. Furthermore, A new WHO digital platform reveals that up to 1 in 5 households in Europe face catastrophic financial burden due to healthcare costs.
The LPGA and USGA have implemented a new policy that requires female athletes to undergo a gender change if they were born female or if they transitioned before puberty. In contrast, Switzerland has a more lenient policy that allows 16-year-old individuals to change their gender entry without the consent of their parents. Additionally, the Tokyo government has introduced a new policy that provides workers with a 4-day workweek to promote fertility and enhance family time.
The United Kingdom has banned daytime television advertisements for cereals, muffins, and burgers. A study reveals that nearly 30% of U.S. drugstores closed in the past decade. Additionally, the study claims that maternity wards closed at most U.S. rural hospitals. Furthermore, a study in the United States found that waterborne disease outbreaks were associated with splash pads. The illness is transmitted by ingesting water contaminated with feces.
Putin's planes allegedly abducted Ukrainian children and forced them into Russian adoption, as revealed in a recent report by Yale. In a significant development, Fatah and Hamas have agreed to establish a committee to oversee the post-war governance of Gaza. Amidst dwindling funding for global crises, the new UN aid chief has pledged to employ ruthlessness in prioritizing spending.
Russian Federation has released a list of 630 allegedly Ukrainian prisoners of war, which Ukraine's officials have dismissed as propaganda. In other news, Apple has been accused of silencing workers and spying on their personal devices. Additionally, in Florida, Ileana Garcia has filed a bill to ban weather modification and prevent the spread of chemtrails.
In the United Kingdom, the Metropolitan Police were unable to locate the stolen bicycle outside of Scotland Yard. A Yakuza family publicly condemned the escalating organized crime known as Yamabeto. Children are involved in a surge of contract killings as Swedish gangs exploit a legal loophole. New data reveals a decline in U.S. grandparents providing care for their grandchildren. In Canada, euthanasia now represents nearly 1 in 20 deaths. Research indicates a global increase in bowel cancer among individuals under 50. The Hill comments as, "Increased Christianity in schools opens the door to satanic temple education programs, more older adults receiving a new ADHD diagnosis. About 1 in 3 U.S. women are accessing family planning services," announces CDC.
Netflix ordered to pay $385,000 to woman outed in documentary as secret child of fertility doctor. Mariah Carey blames bad lighting in Spotify Christmas video claiming to be AI-generated. Moderators across social media struggle to contain celebrations of United Healthcare CEO's assassination. A New Zealander won a Spanish-language Scrabble competition without speaking the language. Meanwhile, 80 works confiscated from organized crime are on display at the Royal Palace in Milan. South Korean president assures the public that he will not resort to martial law again, expressing sincere regret for causing anxiety.
Pakistan's jailed former Prime Minister Imran Khan warns of civil disobedience if released. Last week, Imran Khan was indicted on charges of inciting attacks against the military. Meanwhile, Canada has banned additional types of firearms and is considering donating guns to Ukraine. Additionally, a Ukrainian group in the U.S. opposes the expansion of Starlink due to concerns about Elon Musk's ties to Russia. Russia has revoked the rehabilitations of 4,000 Soviet-era victims of political repression, restoring their status as traitors to the motherland. In other news, an Italian nun was among the 25 individuals arrested during a raid against the 'Ndrangheta mafia. Additionally, the EU naval force reported that a Chinese fishing vessel was under the control of alleged pirates in Somali waters.
AI training, as demonstrated by Hugging Face. Korea arrests the CEO for adding a DDoS feature to satellite receivers.
A study suggests that the short-term cognitive enhancement derived from exercise could persist for up to 24 hours. Reuters has fact-checked that CNN did not release a headline claiming Elon Musk was going to melt down at the Statue of Liberty. Additionally, a satirical piece about Allahu Akbar becoming the most popular greeting in the UK was mistakenly taken seriously. According to a lawsuit, PhotoBucket inadvertently enrolled inactive users into a significant privacy issue. Over 40 Delhi schools have received bomb threats via email, demanding a ransom of $30,000. GB News broadcasts half of all UK stories about Muslims, according to an analysis. North Korea has condemned the dictatorship in South Korea in response to a recent martial law attempt.
A rare Roman coin featuring Brutus was sold at an auction in Geneva for almost €2 million. In contrast, Trump used a photo of himself with First Lady Jill Biden to announce a new fragrance line.
Pylons. Acute and vigorous exercise has been shown to decrease subsequent non-exercise physical activity and body temperature, which are associated with weight gain. Chinese scientists are compelled to leave the United States, according to a top mathematician.